Stay tuned. Pulled pork tacos on the way. On the way. Can you guess what I'm gonna make? All of this is the beginning of pulled pork tacos. Yay! So normally I would brown this on all sides. I would score it. But I don't have any oil, so I'm going to do it in the oven. And it'll come out good. I'm going to cook it with the lid and all these vegetables and all these spices. And I'll tell you which ones they are in a minute. But I start out with all my seasonings, get it all ready. And I'm going to cut up all the vegetables and put them on top and just roast it for a few hours. I already put salt. Do black pepper. Well, let me open the big side. And some of my seasonings have salt, so I didn't put a lot of salt. I want some black pepper. And even though this usually don't call for it, I like to use a little crushed red pepper. We like a little spice in our life. Believe me, it won't be hot. That'll be good and tangy. Okay, next I want to use some of my green stuff. Now I usually use lemon juice or limes, but I don't have any. Okay, I have lemon juice, so I'm going to use lemon juice. And when I'm in a pinch, I use lemon juice or even orange, a little bit of grated orange or a grated lemon. But I don't have that, so today, lemon juice. Okay, it gives it the same flavor. I'll be using a little bit of oregano, ground coriander, which is dried up cilantro. I'm going to also use fresh cilantro. And then when I'm done, we'll have it with cilantro and onions and corn tortillas. A little bit of cumin, onion powder. This is all of these things. This will make up for the lime that I don't have. This stuff is good. Before I got that stuff, I used to use this, and this is okay. But I'm not using this today, because the chili lime will make up for that. A little extra chili powder. I don't have regular garlic powder, but I'm using this adobo all-purpose seasoning. It works. It's mostly garlic powder. I don't really need that much because I have fresh garlic. And that's all the spices. And then there is Anaheim chilies from my garden. Tomatoes that need to be used up. I took the core and the bottom out. 2 onions. 3 big cloves of garlic, some of my little jalapenos from my pepper pot, and some pickled jalapenos. They have a different flavor and they're really good. So all of that's going to get cut up and put with the meat, along with the fresh cilantro and the spices. We keep spicing. This is just a little extra spice, and I'll probably put some water in here too. Now this allspice, this is a funny spice. I only use a tiny little bit of this. You know, you think it's only for baking, but it actually makes the meat taste really good. If you don't want to use this, you could use just a tad bit of cinnamon. And I just put a little bit. This is a big piece of meat. That little bit won't make a difference, but it makes a difference. I don't know how else to explain it. A little bit more of the comino, because that's a good flavor. We definitely want that all around the edges and on the meat. And put that back up there. And the onion powder. And all the rest of the flavoring. And it's really not a lot of spice. There's more vegetable spice than there is spice. That was onion powder. This is coriander. This is like dry ground cilantro. And it has a real like citrusy smell to me, like a lemony smell. And I really like it. I like putting it in my greens too. And my spinach when I cook it with meat. It's really good stuff. A little bit of oregano. I'm seasoning for all the meat because later on, when this thing cooks all the way down, I will be shredding it up and it'll go into all the juice, so the juice has to be good. Next, I'm going to do the chili powder. Let's put this back. Pepper back. Maybe more salt, not yet. Don't need no more red pepper. I'm going to do some chili powder. I'm going to show you what it looks like in here. You do a lot of chili powder because that's one of the main flavors. It's like a chili lime seasoning to the pork meat. It's really good. Okay, put that up there. And you can't do it without that flavor. That flavor's good. You want a decent amount of this chili lime. And in this is, let's see what's in it. Citric acid, salt, chili pepper, paprika, crystallized lime, and rice concentrate. That's for anti-caking agent. But this is some really good stuff. I buy this at a store near my house, and they have a big rack of big spices. And this is one of the bigger spices that I buy because we all like this flavor. So we want a lot of this. That's good. I'll put that at the top. Okay, next. We're going to do lemon juice in the bottom of the pan. Let me pick this up so you can see a little bit. I'm not going to pour it over the meat because all the vegetables are going to go on top of the meat. See, I'm going to pour it around the bottom of the pan. And I'm going to add some water to this too. Not too much water, just a little bit. You see how much is in there? The pork is going to make its own fat. So we don't want to put too much in there. I probably won't put no water, maybe just a little bit, so it don't burn before the pork starts rendering its fat. So now I'm just going to cut up all the peppers and everything. Everything's been washed. It doesn't really matter how you do it. I just slice it up. You know, if it goes off to the edge, that's okay. I'm not taking the seeds out. Nothing. It's all going in there. All of it. Just cut them all up. I might leave some of the seeds out. See, I might leave it like that. And just leave the seeds. Okay, just cut it up. There might be a little seeds. But not that many. The jalapenos that are pickled will have all the seeds. I'll start cleaning them out. Plus it helps the meat. It gives it good flavor. I'll do like that. When I get to the seed part, we'll just stop. You see that? I need to use these up because I picked them a few days ago. And I didn't put them in the fridge right away in the drawer. So they started getting a little soft. So I want to use all this up. I have fresh ones I could go pick, but I mean, these are still good. So I'm using them. I'll give you a couple glances in the pan here in a minute. Let me grab this so I can show you. Look how well you can see it. I'm starting the jalapeno. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just want to cut up all the veggies. Some will fall around the edges, some will be on top. I will be basting this as it cooks. And just making sure the vegetables stay on top. After it gets really good and done, I will take the lid off and brown it up a little bit, and then I will shred it. And pork tacos after that. Good stuff, man. Cutting up the jalapenos. These are ones out of my garden. They're not that hot. I ate some the other day. They haven't gotten that hot yet, so I'm not worried about the seeds in these. They're not really that hot. But if you really don't like spicy and hot, you know, you can use green peppers, red peppers, all of it works. And if you want just a little bit of spice, you know, you could try the pickled jalapenos, but I suggest you cut the seeds out before you start slicing them. Because I do that sometimes. Sometimes I'll cut the seeds out because you never know how hot the pickled peppers are. But This is a big piece of meat. I think it can handle the extra spice. And these pickled peppers give it a really good taste. So this is my version of pork tacos. It's kind of made like carne asada. I don't know if I said it right. But it's kind of like that, but with pork. And then it's shredded up for pulled pork tacos. Really good stuff. So we're just going to get it going. Okay, none of this has to be perfect. I'm slicing up garlic now. Because all of this will become a part of like a gravy anyway. None of it will be veggies anymore. It'll become a part of the sauce to the meat. It'll all cook down. You won't see veggies anymore. You'll just taste amazing flavor. I'm going to leave the onions in ring slices, half ring slices, because it's easier to string them on the meat when I'm scooping up the veggies from the edge and putting them on top. So I sliced it in half, and then I'm just slicing it again and dropping it in slices. Doesn't really matter, but I try to make them sort of thin because they're going to be all over cooking for a few hours. Or you can even do this, you can do long slices this way. Doesn't really matter, as long as you got a nice little cut up going. Okay, last thing last, tomatoes. I'm going to do the same thing with them. Cut them in half and cut little wedges off and just let them go wherever they want. Juice, seeds, everything. Skin, I didn't take the skin off. This is all part of the flavor. These were soft tomatoes, they needed to be used up. Usually I'll use a can of tomatoes with green chilies and still add like green peppers and whatever I have on hand really. But everything works, it doesn't really matter. You see these are really soft and mushy. I'm kind of mushing them as I cut them. So it doesn't really matter. It's just going to be a little bit everywhere. And then, let's put those everywhere in the pan. Couple more. These really need to get used up, so I don't care that I'm using so many. They're all going to cook way down. You won't even see them. Okay, one more. I'm going to mix it all around in here. Make sure it looks good, and then I'll give you a peek. Oh, we got cilantro after this. And then we'll have everything in here that we want. Might be a little bit too many tomatoes, but I think I just squirted myself. Yay! Great. Okay, so we got all the tomatoes around. I'm going to knock some of this stuff down so you can kind of see it. And I got all that stuff in there. I'm going to put a little bit more spice. Oh, and cilantro. And you'll see here that it is almost done. I'll show you in a sec. Don't mind my frizzy hair. But look here. This is what it looks like. Isn't that yummy looking? So yummy. It's been about an hour, and I'm about a quarter to halfway through. At this point, I'm just gonna kind of get some of the juice. I didn't end up putting extra water in it. Just want to baste it a little bit with some of its juice on top. Just this around. Sorry. Turn it around a bit. Paste it. You can see all the big chunks of garlic. Believe me, all that will cook down. Okay, back in the oven for another hour before I shred it up. Maybe even an hour and a half. Say hi to my puppy. Okay, this is done now. I'm going to let it rest for a few minutes, and then I'm going to shred it up, and I'll be back to show you. And now it's done. I'm going to heat up some corn tortillas, cut up some cilantro and onions, serve it up with some rice. Bon appetit. Peace to the next video.